Yeah, we back. Yeah, we back. Now, today's video is going to be a follow-up video to when I dropped yesterday or the other day entitled, Niger cuts off France uranium supply, forcing a desperate government bailout. And obviously in that video, we spoke about the French multinational nuclear energy giant, Orano, which lost its mining license in Niger in the last few months and is already recording record losses to the tune of hundreds of millions of euros, to the point where the French government had to make a 300 million euro injection into the company to cover the losses for the calendar year. I believe the company is actually on track to lose over $300 million this year. So that injection was actually meant to cover that loss, kind of like a band-aid. Now, some other headlines I covered in the past week was this one also from CanadianDimension.com. In West Africa, Canadian mining firms come up against bloc of independent states. We also spoke about how the government of Mali actually slapped Barrick Gold, which is, I believe, the second largest gold mining company on the planet, with a $500 million tax bill. And I believe within that same week, the military government in Mali arrested 4 executives of Barrick Gold. Now, like I said in previous videos, Canada sometimes flies under the radar, but don't get it twisted. Canada flies in the same pack with the French, the Americans, and any other imperial colonial nation. They have a very friendly international image, but don't get it twisted. Canada was established through the same colonial processes by the same exact people, the British, the French, etc., etc. So when you think about Canada, Canada is basically an extension of those same colonial enterprises that I just mentioned from the very beginning, right? It's always been ruled and managed by the descendants of the European colonists. So even though they're an independent nation, quote unquote, so-called independent nation, Canada is basically like a burner account where our same exact colonial adversaries can do business under a neutral name, right? So for example, you could have a Canadian multinational corporation and then you look at the executives and, man, these guys came from France. You know what I'm saying? Like, they might call themselves the Canadians, but obviously they have a deep cultural and ancestral connection to the French, right? So like I said, Canada, you got to watch out for Canada, man. Canada very slick and loose. Canada is very sneaky, man. You got to keep an eye on the Canadians. But anyways, I seen the most recent headline coming out of this heated engagement, this heated battle between Mali and this Canadian multinational Barrick Gold. Take a look up on the screen. Mali accuses Barrick Gold of breaching their agreement, and Barrick Gold denies the claims. Let's jump into these articles, man. Mali has accused Barrick Gold of failing to abide by commitments made in a recent agreement, charges which the Canadian miner denies, saying that it did not accept any claims of wrongdoing. But in a joint statement from October 23rd, Mali's economy and mines minister said Barrick had not honored the commitments to which it subscribed in the agreement. Without sharing further details, the ministry said the breaches include those relating to environmental and corporate social responsibility and foreign exchange rules. They said there were serious risks to the group's continued operations in Mali, one of whose operating licenses expires at the beginning of 2026. Now, like I said before, there's different types of warfare. There's physical warfare with the guns and the cannons and the military planes and the bombs and the grenades. Then there's diplomatic warfare, right? Negotiations between two states. And then you got what's happening here, economic warfare, right? Now, here you got Barrick Gold, right? One of the largest, I believe the second largest gold mining company on the entire planet. Billion-dollar company, just like the French nuclear giant Orano that was kicked out of Niger very recently. Now, it seems to me that the government in Mali is taking a slightly different approach than the military government in Niger. Now, when you look at Niger, they just woke up one morning and just deleted the operating license. They just kicked them out the country immediately, abruptly, just ripped up the contract and told them get out of the country. Now, it seems like the military government in Mali is taking a slightly different approach, right? It seems like they're trying to find loopholes or a pretext to legally justify revoking the mining license of Barrick Gold, this Canadian multinational, because I see them using a lot of legal jargon, saying things like you have failed to honor your commitments, you have unfulfilled obligations, you have breached the terms of the agreement, right? Now, in reality, Barrick Gold probably didn't do anything, but it doesn't even matter, right? Because the black man is the one that creates the laws of the land, so we could just create a law and say that you broke it. But from observing the situation, that's what I see is going on. At first, they said they owed $500 million in taxes. Then they said they committed financial crimes. Now they're saying they breached the agreement. They didn't honor their obligations, right? It seems that, listen, the black man just trying to find any reason. Like, when somebody done with you, you just find any excuse to be done with somebody. Like, bro, listen, I don't like how you spoke to me, so you got to go, right? It's the same reason why Niger, remember when Niger had kicked out the U.S. military out the country? What was the reason they gave as to why they kicked out the U.S. military? They said, not only have you failed to actually eradicate terrorism because you said you were going to come to fight terrorism, which means that you have failed to fulfill your obligations. You have failed to honor your end of the agreement. And on top of that, I don't like how you spoke to me. You remember that? They said that the delegation that was sent from Washington was disrespectful during the negotiations. So they put that as the reason why they wanted to end diplomatic and military relations with the United States and told them to pack up the military base, because I don't like the tone of voice you use when you are speaking to me. But that's what happens when somebody's done with you. It doesn't even matter what you do. Any little thing you do is going to be used as a justification for them to end the relationship, because that's what happens when somebody is done with you. Any little thing is going to be used as a justification. Now, if you want to go the route taken by Niger, where you just abruptly end the relationship, that is when you open yourself up to criticism from the Western media. They're going to start saying you a dictator. Oh my God, he is subverting the values of democracy. But when you go the route taken by Mali, for example, by saying that due to the fact that you have failed to fulfill your obligations, we're going to allow your license to expire in a year. So that way you protect yourself from international criticism by saying, listen, I didn't do nothing wrong. Listen, they broke the law. I told them what it was. They failed to fulfill their obligations. So we decided that it was best to go our separate ways. We allowed the contract to expire. So that way the accountability is no longer on you, but now the accountability is now on the multinational corporation for failing to tend to their duties, for failing to fulfill their obligations, right? So it's a very slick and intelligent way of kicking a white man out the country. Now let's continue. The Malian government has decided to draw all legal consequences arising from the actions taken by Barrick Gold, they said. In response, Barrick denied the allegations and said that since September 30th, it had been actively engaged with the Malian government to reach a settlement that would include an increase in the state's share of economic benefits from the Loulo-Gounkoto complex. Now, listen, like I said, Barrick Gold, the second largest gold mining company on the planet. The black man got Barrick Gold on their knees right now. The European colonists out here scrambling right now, right? Talking about, listen, we'll pay you a lump sum settlement. We'll increase your share of the profits. We'll increase your percentage. Listen, if you listen to my album, the first track on my album, what did I say? Don't need percentages. I need it all. Feel like it's down the way that we ball. Yeah, man. I don't need percentages. I need it all. You know what I'm saying? The white man talk about, I give you a bigger percentage. Don't need percentages. I need it all. Feel like it's down the way that we ball. Yeah, real shit. Yeah, that's what I was talking about on that record. I was talking about the goddamn contracts with the multinational corporations. The black man don't need percentages. The black man need it all. Yeah, go check out the album. Anyways, but that goes to show you, as soon as the black man begins to apply pressure, even the biggest multinational giants, look how quick they buckle under the pressure, right? We already got the European colonists in France scrambling. He had to bail out the company. But that goes to show you, man, as soon as the black man refuses to back down, the other man has no choice but to bend over. Literally, right? So, hey, it is what it is, man. But that goes to show you it's different ways to wage economic warfare. Of course, you could go the route taken by Niger and just rip up the contract, or you could go the route taken by Mali and go the legal route, right? But either way it goes, you end up at the same destination. Of course, when it comes to me, I don't give a damn about anything, so I have no problem just ripping up the contract, but I do respect the strategic intelligence being deployed by President General Assimi Goïta in this scenario. Now, let's continue. Take a look up on the screen. Mali threatens to let the Barrick mine permit lapse over the dispute. Mali's military government has threatened to take back Barrick Gold Corporation's mine concession when the current permit expires in 2026, amid an escalating dispute over how to divide the economic benefits from operations in the country. Mali is considering letting the permit for Loulo lapse when it expires in February 2026, Finance Minister Aluseni Sanu said in an October 18th letter sent to Barrick's Chief Executive Officer Mark Bristow and seen by Bloomberg. Mali reserves the right not to renew the operating permit and invited Barrick to talks on the mine's transition phase starting later this month. Now, here's the fact of the matter, man. The global economic supply chains, as well as the global financial systems, they run and they are maintained by everything that is coming out of Africa. From the uranium that powers Europe's nuclear reactors, to the gold that props up the financial systems. The world economy runs on the black man's resources, and the black man must understand that to assume his rightful position in the world. Just due to the fact that even the biggest multinational corporations buckle under the pressure and are forced to capitulate to our demands goes to show you the leverage that we have when it comes to global economic activity. And we're not even operating at our full potential. So imagine how much we can bully the adversary once we are truly operating at our full potential and our full capacity. It's going to be no competition, man. These boys are going to be literally on their knees kissing our feet. And anytime they raise their voice or communicate with us in a disrespectful manner, we can simply turn off the tap and watch them starve to death. Now, let's continue. The move comes as the government has taken an increasingly hard line against the world's second biggest gold miner, including briefly jailing 4 of its local executives last month over alleged financial crimes. Mali this week accused Barrick of failing to honor a September agreement aimed at resolving their disputes, which the Canadian company has denied. The CEO, Mark Bristow, has visited the West African country repeatedly over the last year, including a stop at the mine in March where he told local media that it had contributed more than $1 billion to the Malian economy in the past 12 months. The country last week rejected Barrick's proposal to divide the economic benefits from Loulo-Gounkoto for 55% for Mali and 45% for the company. So, wow. Listen, man. They told the black man, listen, bro, we'll give you 55%. We'll give you 55%. Listen, when you understand how Western multinationals do business, you understand that 55% is like, that's crazy numbers, bro. That's crazy numbers, boy. You know, usually them boys want to take 95%, 90%. You know, if they take 80% in their mind, that's a good deal. If they give you 20% in their mind, that's good business, right? So for them to offer Mali 55%, nigga, that's crazy. That's crazy, boy. Them boys that's called capitulation. That's called capitulation. Listen, that's called, the white man getting on his knees and kissing the ring. Now let's continue. The military government demands on Barrick follow a 2023 audit of mining contracts and a push to renegotiate existing agreements with mining companies, including B2 Gold Corporation, Allied Gold Corporation, and Anglo Gold Ashanti PLC, in a bid to boost the state's revenue from its mineral resources through a new mining code adopted last year. Now, obviously, I'm hoping that the government of Mali reigns victorious in this ongoing heated economic battle between themselves and Barrick Gold. Obviously, we know that the gold mining sector in West Africa in general is one of the most profitable industries for multinational corporations, period, point blank. I mean, like I said, it was the black man in West Africa that was the wealthiest man in the world, mainly due to his gold production, mainly due to his large amounts of gold reserves, right? So that is why the most wealthiest man to ever walk the face of the earth came out of West Africa. And ironically, where did he come from? The modern day region now known as Mali. And in fact, I believe that the president of Mali comes from the same exact ethnic group as Mansa Musa himself, right? So they come from that same ethnic group, the same background. He's literally a descendant of those legendary black men from back in the day. Now, if you take a look up on the screen, right, this article came out about 2 days ago. Mining shares drag as Toronto market falls for the 4th day. Toronto stock index dips as the mining and telecom falters. Take a look up on the screen. The bigger picture, shifting economic sands. Canada's economic position remains delicate, with the Bank of Canada's rate cuts aiming to ignite growth amid sluggish conditions. These financial strategies are set against a backdrop of varied sector performances, demonstrating the interplay of global economic changes and local policy adjustments. Further rate shifts throughout the year could reshape the market scenarios, affecting investor strategies and wider economic trends in Canada and beyond. In simple terms, due to the economically turbulent environment that is happening to the Canadian mining sector, they are currently experiencing what some would call a decline, right? Heavily affected by the recent geopolitical events that are taking place in regions like Mali, for example, right? Creating uncertainty for the Canadian multinationals. So a lot of investors are nervous right now, right? They're selling off their stocks in the mining sector. And this shows you how much influence the black man has over the global markets. And everybody knows how much influence the black man has over the global markets, except the black man. The black man does not understand his power. The black man does not understand that at any given time, any decision you make has ripple effects across the entire global economy. The entire global economy responds to the moves made by the black man, right? So Black man, understand the power that you have, understand the leverage that you have, understand that the world is yours and the world belongs to you. Anyways, man, this is boy Never Card Salim back in the building. Yes, indeed. Cash App in the description. Support the channel, man. Support the album. Peace.
No. Feel like I'm 75. Know that your team be full of them traders. You know that can never be mine. I'm grabbing a thought when I drive. I'm back in my zone and we on. She said that she ready to come be my wifey and hoping I don't do her wrong. I gave her my word in this bond. I'm whipping the best like a lamb. I mean no chicken and lamb. Accustomed to call me the man. I never be up on the gram. I'm keeping that way undercover. She want me to tell her I love her. I told her I'm breaking the rules. I told her we making the news. Back in my city they loving me. Standing alone I'm 100 deep. Enemy plotting and still in reach. They try to make sure that we underneath. Trying to make sure that we never make it. Coming for power, come get acquainted. Coming for everything that I wanted. Feeling like Drake but I really wrote it. Feeling like Kendrick, I'm checking names. Gotta roll up while I go insane. Got so much stress I been gained weight. Stuffing these racks in this Louis case. One thing for certain, I'm about to check. Keep it 100 and nothing less. Stick with the family since day one. Had to stay down till my day come. Had to stay down but I'm never patient. Hop on the mic and I'm motivated. Hop on the mic and I drop a classic. Haters can't see me, they copping glasses. Back in the studio making magic. Got a new tape and it's in production. Back on my business, I got a budget. Staying low key when I'm out in public. Feel like I'm 75. Know that your team be full of them traders. You know that can never be mine. I'm grabbing a thought when I drive. I'm back in my zone and we on. She said that she ready to come be my wifey and hoping I don't do her wrong. I gave her my word in this bond. I'm whipping the best like a lamb. I mean no chicken and lamb. Accustomed to call me the man. I never be up on the gram. I'm keeping that way undercover. She want me to tell her I love her. I told her I'm breaking the rules. I told her we making the news.